For more on this emerging so-called cancel culture, I want to welcome on my next guest, Mike Lindell, the CEO of My Pillow. So, Mike, when we look at this idea of cancel culture, this is something that has actually come to your doorstep in some regard as well. There's been people who want you canceled, if you will, based solely, I'm assuming, based on your political affiliation. So, when it comes to people who may be dealing with this, what is your response to individuals who are dealing with cancel culture?
Well, you know what? Don't live in fear, especially if you're a business. My busiest day is always the day I'm in. It's a small amount of people out there that say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to boycott you," and blah blah blah. You know what? They're just got big backing by the fake news and the fake media out there that's spreading this narrative and trying to cancel this culture. And I've dealt with it ever since I used to wear my cross. When I always wear my cross on TV, it started way back then. I'm used to it. And you see, I'm still standing.
And when it comes to the cross, too, that's actually something that I want to talk about because amid this cancel culture debate, it seems like there are, for example, churches being vandalized or even in some cases Christians who are being targeted based solely on their religious affiliation as well. So would you like to see maybe some Catholic or Christian religious leaders come out and speak out against cancel culture, but also in defense of places such as St. John's Church when it was vandalized in Washington?
Yeah, you know what? This is the most important election of our lifetime, of any time. And, this is where we're going as a society. We got to speak out. You can't get past the election and go, "Oh, I wish I would have said something." All the leaders out there, the leaders of the churches, the business leaders, we have to speak up. I can't say it enough. I bet, they just hit me up yesterday with trying to boycott me for some host said for some host said something, and I deal with it every day. But you know what? You don't have to fear nothing. It's just a bunch of trolls running around on Twitter and all this stuff. And we got to speak up for what's logical, what makes sense. Because this stuff that's going on out there, it doesn't make any sense. But they've been doing it for 50 years with all the getting into our movies, getting into our print, getting into our books and everything else. It's time we have to speak out for what's right in this country.
And when we talk about this subject, too, I think it's worth noting that the media, to some degree, also plays a facilitation type of thing when it comes to this subject as well. It's not just people online. It's not just people who are individuals who necessarily don't like you as well, but sometimes it's coming from major networks. In fact, I recently saw you be scrutinized because you were just advertising on Fox News. And that within itself, isn't really a political decision. It's a good business decision. You were, for example, My Pillow was advertising on Tucker Carlson's show, who just got rated the highest cable news television show of all time for any quarter. That is a good business decision. So when it comes to this as well, do you think that the media does play a role?
Absolutely. You know what I tell people? Boycott Mike Lindell and My Pillow because he advertises on Tucker. Then the other guys will say, don't boycott him. He'll double his ads. We see enough of that guy. Yeah. Let me tell you something, what I tell him. I advertise on CNN and MSNBC too. I do what's best for my customers and my 1,500 American workers. But I'll tell you what, those guys, they directly badmouth me and I still advertise there. It's just like if I took down every time somebody said something and didn't advertise on them because I'm afraid of a boycott, all these people, they call me up going, I was going to buy 50 pills, but I'm not going to now because you advertise on Tucker. Well, you know what? You're lying. You probably already have 50 pillows and you're using them. And it's just a big fake. It's all fake news. It really is. It makes me the fear factor they put in other businesses. Get over it. The ones that left Tucker, they're left-wing businesses anyway. A lot of them. They've got their own agenda. And it's all centered around money. We need to get back to what's best for our lives in this country. And we're going down a bad path if we let these guys take over.
And you mentioned that you're also looking out for the fiduciary responsibility of your employees, looking out for what they're doing as well. Because, if your company's not doing well, those 1,500 workers that you're talking about right now aren't doing well either. They may not even have a job when we're talking about this. But when it comes to the current pandemic as well, your company has done a lot in order to help a lot of frontline workers, people around the country who may be affected by this pandemic. Can you speak a little bit about that before I let you go?
Well, you know what? We first started out making masks. We've made, I don't know, millions of masks now, or I don't know how many, but we got well over 50,000 a day. But we also did things like when in my state of Minnesota, when there was horrific leadership by our governor and the mayor, and where this all started, we gave out pillows to the National Guard when they came in to help out and get things done. And we've done that with many cities to help out the people that have had their businesses ruined. I mean, this is just terrible it's really bad when you get something as terrible as a pandemic and then we get politics brought into play by these Democratic governors and mayors of these big cities, and it's really sad. But My Pillow, we help out. God gave me one of the biggest platforms in this country, and I just enjoy giving back, and that's what we're all about at My Pillow. And if people want to sit out there and try and boycott me for doing good for something someone else did, so be it. Good luck with that. I will double my ads.
Yeah, and you know, that's something that's universally accepted as well, too. I mean, everybody can appreciate, for example, someone looking out for their employees, someone looking out for their community as well. When you bring politics into it, you're right to say earlier that it's just a very small select group of people who a lot of times have the loudest voices, but by no means is that representative, in your case, with the people of Minnesota as well. I think you're right on to say that. But Mike Lindell, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, breaking down exactly what's happening in regard to the media and all the good work that you're doing as well. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me on. God bless you all.